laughing. So I love this chapter because even though I feel like I have clarity on my business, I just feel like there's just so much that I don't have from this chapter still. And I thought it's one of the more complicated chapters to me. I've read it. So I read it once with Brooke. I listened to it with Brendan online. And then I also read it because I feel like I need things multiple ways. And so when I was going through this chapter, the first thing that struck me was not to mention the whole Kate story. So that the research that Brendan did shows that compared to their peers, high performers have more clarity on who they are, what they want, how to get it, and what they find meaningful and fulfilling. So in order to be a high performer, you have to have clarity. If you don't have clarity, you're not truly going to perform at your highest level. And then the other thing I saw is that you have to have unambiguous and challenging goals. Decades of research show that having specific, this is on page 64, and difficult goals increases performance. Kind of like your stretch goals. You know how we're always talking about when we're in our prayer groups, Karen, and we're talking about praying for the harder thing and stretching for that harder thing. That's what gets you to perform at, it leads to more energy and greater enjoyment, productivity, profitability, and satisfaction in our work. And you should have a deadline for your goals. So before, they used to always say, oh, I'm going to be Emerald next month, and it would never happen, So having a deadline is one thing, and having a realistic deadline based on how clear you are in running your business. Now, there's a lot of variables that happen, right? I've had a couple people leave my business the last couple of months, so I feel like I'm starting from scratch again. So, yeah, you too, Karen. I mean, it's like, I think it'll always be like this, though, right? We're always going to have people that are going to come. We have people that are going to go. But as long as we're clear on what we want to do, and we keep moving towards that net needle forward in that, I think that we'll get there eventually. Even if you get there, doesn't mean you're going to stay there. That's my thought for today, because I was there. I'm not there anymore. It's like an up and down roller coaster. I feel like I have to stretch to the next level in order to stay at the level that I thought I was at, right? Yeah. So Leon's saying I set the goal, but so many variables that affect them so you get really frustrated. So again, the clarity chapter is really important because it helps you get more focused about what you are and who you are. And especially in the envisioning the future for, which I have to admit I had to read a couple of times, the self, social, skills, and service, and kind of think about how I am within those things. And we did this the other night. We talked about our 3 words, and mine were present, thriving, and successful. If you guys want to drop yours in the chat, that'd be great. And then we also talked the other night about the social part, where it was anticipate positive interactions with others, which is really important. I'm going to just message Stephanie because I know she wanted to come.
Right, yours. Confident, joyful, and successful.
Did you guys set an alarm for that? An alarm? So that it would go off and remind you that you are that person. You set that intention, and then setting the intentions for positive social interaction. So I had a situation today where somebody told me that, they're thinking about not being in business anymore. And I wish I would have stopped for a moment and thought about how I wanted to deal with that situation using my social. So I still, even though I have clarity, I still struggle with this part, like how to go into a situation without reactionary all the time and go into it with positive social intentions. Okay. We'll go through the prompts, and I mean, we can do those today too, but then I got to the skills part and I put, I don't know why I wrote this, but I wrote time blocks. I don't know why that worked. I think that's what it says. What 3 skills are you currently working on to develop so you'll be more successful next year? And that was on page 75, time block. I wrote down time blocks. I guess that was me. Oh, and then I wrote this on page 78. It says, look into the future, identify key skills, and obsessively develop those skills. Look into the future, identify key skills, obsessively develop those skills. So, in other words, it says we just forget to develop our own curriculum in life. Do you all have a curriculum in life?
Nope.
Anybody have a curriculum in life? So I also feel like I need to work a little bit harder in that area. And you know what? We attend all these trainings. I go to Brooks, I go to Jen Leaks, I go to this, I go to that. But I feel like in order to really move the needle forward again, I have to say, this is what's going to be in the future. I can't wait for somebody else to say, this is what you need to work on. I have to think about it and say, okay, this is what I need to work on in the future. I need to work on building my own curriculum, like figuring out how do I place an ad that's successful and doesn't get turned off? How do I bundle my services like everybody, like other people do? You know, like a lot of other network marketers say, okay, you buy this and you'll get coaching with me. How do you do that? How do you provide this service? Because it leads to service. That's okay. Babette was been in another room. You're good. We're just in the book. I'm talking everybody's ear off right now. Okay, so I really like the activity on page 79. I don't know if it's something that you guys want to bookmark. Think about your primary field of interest and write down 3 skills that make people successful in this field. And then write down what you'll do to develop it and put it on your calendar.
Does anybody else have the other book? Because we have yet to figure out where you are.
So it says, I'm in the Seek Clarity chapter and I'm on the section of skills. And there's a part that says, you can follow Kate's lead. That looks like, I should probably take my blur off.
Oh, ours is way earlier than that. So we're already in service by that time. Okay, we're back here.
So do you see like this little part right here? It says Seek.
So that's on 73 for us. Now we've got
so weird. Okay.
Um,
So, and that might be something for coaching, but that might be something to journal today. You know, what 3 things you need to do to be, what are 3 successful people doing? So what are they doing? When you look at a diamond, what do they do differently than you? What do you have to do to get to that level? I think it's more than that though, because they're already there and things have changed since they got there. So we have to think about how now with what we're given with the economy, with, the changing face of COVID, just the whole thing that's happened in our world in the last few years, people losing their jobs. What do we have to do to be successful the next 3 years? That's a complicated and difficult question. Do you guys know? Do you have any ideas? Share with me if you do.
Even I think just within the next year, we really need to focus on the business aspect of it.
Like sharing the business?
Yeah.
So what's good?
Because I remember when COVID hit, some people were, obviously sharing the opportunity And then other people, I remember from a sideline were like, well, that's kind of, times are hard. We should not be pushing that, these people spend money on, so we kind of held back. And then that's when most of those teams totally exploded because people are worried about their money. They're going to worry more about their finances than their health. Really, most people have really just conveying the opportunity that we have to offer people that's a low investment. It's not, there's some products that no matter what, we have to be on. The alternative of getting off them and going back to being so sick and, having to do all the mess we were doing before.
So your skill that you're saying is to share the business effectively. What do you need to do to develop that in yourself?
I think I need to study the compensation plan more in detail and really pick some, like if I'm talking to somebody who's a single mom, go get a diamond doc and, to relate instead of like you're saying, if you talk to the masses, talk to everyone, you're attracting no one. I really doing a job of like narrowing it down to, because that's all we've done. Because we know everybody needs a product, everybody needs that.
I know.
But being more specific in how we relate to them when we're presenting the opportunity.
So that's funny that you said that because I signed up for this. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Julie Kinney. She does, she has this thing called Unlimited Leads. And she talks about, it's different than I thought it was. And it was pretty cheap. I want to say it was like $20 or something. It's been a really meaty training about attraction marketing and not attraction marketing and who is your who and how do you show love to your who and really kind of narrowing it down because I'm the same way. I'm like, you're a teacher, you need it. You're an autism nana, you need it. You're a go-getting mom, you need it. You're an older person, you need it. So by going to all the different people, you're not zeroing in on your niche. And I used to hate that word niche because I was like, but I want to sell to everybody. I don't want to just sell to my niche. But what she's saying is that there's so many people that are in that niche that you could be targeting more effectively. Just it's like spraying. What does she call it? Something like you're spraying everybody and hoping that somebody sticks.
Exactly.
It's like, well,
Look at the qualities of a person, because we've spent a lot of energy on people that in hindsight, we should have seen either they need to understand personal growth and invest in themselves.
Talking about business builders.
It's just not
Right.
going to even though you see possibilities in somebody or that they really need this or they need the money, if they don't want to grow themselves, you're just wasting a lot of time and energy on a person that is not going to have much return.
right. I totally agree. Because I've had that issue myself. And, on the one hand, if you have somebody that's low income and that really needs this and really wants this, and you present the opportunity to them and they go for it, those are rare. And if you have, and I'm not just saying low income to box them into a place because I've been low income before, I kind of consider myself still low income sometimes, but what I mean by that is that if you still have to have that drive and you still have to put aside the time, even though you're in a struggle in life, you have to put aside the time to do the personal development, like Randy said. If you don't, you won't grow. But on the other hand, Karen and Randy, I also think that we need to do, as collectively, need to do a better job of teaching that. Like I don't feel like I teach that well. I'm like, hey, sign up 3 people. Hey, sign up 3 people. What's the next step? Getting them to that next step. So I feel like that's where I need to grow is this next S, which is service, and learning how to serve the people that want the business better so that it's not, because not everybody's going to be like me. They're not going to dig in and say, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I've got this, self-confident. I know what to do. Let me try this. You know, not everybody does that. They have to be walked through step by step. So I feel like that's where I need to grow, is service to others. Not only my customers, serving them a little bit better, which, you know, you try to do, but sometimes they're like, I don't want to hear from you. Leave me alone.
I guess one other thing I would say is to make sure your investment in this individual,
Mhm.
what they do in return, it kind of like you
Yeah.
give them and then they either give back or give to themselves, and then you just keep going to the next level. But
Exactly.
you got to wait for them
To do something.
to do something instead of
Right.
just keep pouring in and pouring in and pouring in.
Mhm. At some point, they need to be a self-starter. If
Yeah.
you've given them the tool and they don't do the tool, and you've checked in with them on the tool and they still haven't done the tool, then maybe they truly don't want the tool. They don't want the business. And
Because
if
they're not, the energy you pour into them, if they're not doing it, you could pour into yourself.
Right.
If that's
Or the
all you
next
had
person.
is yourself, then you could do that.
Right. Or your next person.
Or your next person, right?
Right. So I get stuck. I get hung up in trying to get all the people that have left me the last couple months back. And I'm got to stop. I mean, yes, I check in with them. Hey, did you hear about the Nike promotion? Blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to spend as much time with them as I did before. When I'm talking about service to others, I think what I'm saying is show them the way, make it automated a little bit better for me. I need it automated a little bit better. Here's a video. I watched this. Here's a script. Do this. And then have it where I can check up on them. So it's not as, I feel like I'm typing out every single time, do this, do that, try this, try that. And what I learned is that it takes 2 years of consistent posting for somebody to recognize you as that brand or that person. Which I was shocked at. 2 years.
That's a great
Like-
reminder.
Where did you hear that?
In this training that I'm doing,
Oh, really?
that it takes 2 years, and that not to brand your brand.
Consistent is the key.
What?
I said, and consistent is the key. We've got a
Yes.
couple, you know, especially this one girl, I think of specific. She signed somebody pretty early that did go crazy and then left, like canceled her account and bailed on everybody. So
Mhm.
then she's been really down on, well, I keep trying and but I'm going, but you're not consistent.
Right.
You'll get on a roll and do great. And then you'll not post about Plexus for a month.
Mhm.
And then you'll come back and wonder why people aren't jumping all over your specials.
They don't see anything.
No.
They don't see you unless you're consistent. And another thing she said was brand yourself, not the product. Yes, you have to post the product, but focus more on branding who you are as a person. Because they'll follow you as a brand, your brand, not the brand. And that you have to get your voice above all others in what you're selling. And you obviously, you provide a solution for that person, right? Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about this other training, because that's not what this is about. But it's very interesting that you have to remain consistent. My favorite response from one of my ladies was, well, nobody wants it. I go, well, when was the last time you posted? When was the last time you messaged? Well, nobody wants it. How do you know? Tell me, prove it to me. What they're saying is they don't want it. They don't want it. And I should learn how to listen better. Okay. So I don't know what page you guys are on, but getting into service, if you could turn to that part of the clarity. So this is how you look to tomorrow and consider your service to the world. And I underlined when somebody becomes disconnected from the future and their contribution to it, they underperform. That's kind of highlighted there anyways. They have nothing to get excited about tomorrow, so they stop caring about all the details today. That's why it's so vital that leaders continually engage their people in conversations about tomorrow, vision casting. What could tomorrow look like? And I always really get stuck in the service part. Like I said, I have clarity about what I want, but I don't know if I'm serving people the right way. Anybody else feel that way?
Mhm.
Well, I
You guys
sure
have-
do.
Go ahead, Babette. No, go ahead. Tell me what you're thinking.
I do have a real problem with the service thing. I just sometimes, I don't know if I forget who I'm talking to or if I get distracted and instead of talking to older moms and grandmas, I'd start talking to younger moms, or my military spouses that are overseas or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm
Mhm.
all over the place. So it's hard for me to like zone in on that, but it makes so much sense. And like what you were saying before about the niche, somebody that I follow, they say niches make riches. And that, I
Mhm.
mean, when you zone in, what happens is that all those people follow you. And then the next time, then they're thinking about that, but then their friends see what's going on and you start getting some other people that aren't even in that niche. But it takes a while. And, like you
Mhm.
said, 2 years, I've been posting for 2 years and this has been my best, like last 3 months of the whole deal. Like the first probably
Mhm.
year and a half, I was stagnant. I felt stagnant,
But you kept at it.
but I kept at it. And then when I started posting on Instagram every day, I mean, my numbers have jumped, and not necessarily in sales yet, but in followers. And I've noticed that my followers go up and down like this, but I consistently go up, and so it's like a graph. And so what I feel like is happening is the people that really need to be in my niche are following me and the other ones are unfollowing me. And so that's what's happening there. At first I had a big dip and it wasn't just a couple, it was like, 20, 30 unfollowing and then 4 or 5 would follow. And so my graph has gone uphill, but it has downs in it. And then the other point I wanted to make was I've been part of this little group and we have noticed that people want to spend money. Even if they don't have it, they want to spend it. They're used to spending money. And so if you can show them a way to spend their money to make themselves either, more healthy or both more healthy and financially better, it's just talking to that person and figuring out the service of that one and how to get them to really dive in. That's what I'm having a problem with. Am I making sense?
Totally making sense. And I do think that it's a scary thing to talk to your niche and only your niche, to show that part of you. And I have a hard time with that because I have multiple things that I
Same.
talk, but I'm still trying to come up with it. And I have one, but I'm like, is this really who I am? So I have to play around. I think you have to play around with it for a while.
I was looking at one of your posts yesterday and it was the post where it's listed all the things that you've been through. Each one of those you can speak on individually and that will draw in more people in that on that one reason and then go to the next one and
Mhm.
speak on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I
And
think
then-
I have historically over time, a lot of people that know me know that
Okay, I just
I
started
talk a
following
lot
you,
about
so
Jack and moving and all of the things. It was kind of like a summation of changes that we have.
that
Is
was
that the one you're
amazing.
talking about?
Yes, that was an
Yeah.
amazing post. I really enjoyed reading that.
I do think that though there's too many things that really isn't a niche post. Only thing that's a niche about it is that people change. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm speaking to the people that have the passion to change their life.
Right. Well, I stepped out of my comfort zone yesterday and I've agreed to write a book, and don't even ask me what my book's going to be about because I don't have a clue, but it'll come. That's what she guarantees me, is that it'll come. And so I shared my story with her and she's like, you've got a story. And so I think, that will really help to zero in on my niche.
Yes, I totally will, because you'll be telling that story.
Uh-huh.
That'll help you practice your story for
Yeah.
your Instagram or whatever, right?
Yes.
I like the performance prompts, and I know we weren't really there's just too much in here to not talk about those. But the performance prompts at the end of that service chapter, did anybody do those yet? The emotions I've been feeling a lot of lately are, and for me, it's fear and insecurity, but it's not like this a lot.
Are you
The
working
feel-
on the performance prompts on page 82? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I think that's what it is. It's on 88 in my book.
Okay, wait, let me look on 88.
It says the emotions I've been experiencing a lot lately are.
That is on page 88. There's some other questions on page 82. I just wasn't sure where you were.
You guys, Karen and Randy, yours are going to be soon before that sometime.
Yeah, our performance prompts are on 78.
Wow, that's a lot of pages difference. There's
Yeah.
different performance prompts. So
Oh, okay.
this
hold
is
on.
About 5 pages later
determined.
than that.
This is
Make sure you're on the right ones.
I wish
determine
they
the
would
feeling
number
you're
those
after.
performance prompts.
the
That would
first
be so
one?
much easier.
So I'm in the practice 2, determine the feeling you're after, and we didn't really talk about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so maybe on 83, the emotions I've been experiencing a lot lately are.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
83.
And
Mhm.
that's really about your automatic. So this chapter or this section really talks about your automatic feelings that you have about different things. And remember when I was talking about set the intention of how you want to deal with people and you're in the moment, the emotions that you have, the feeling that you have. This talks about whenever you feel a fear or something, that you take a moment to center yourself and calm yourself down and choose a different feeling than the emotion. Because I know we all get those emotions that come up when we're dealing with our business people, or even just people that respond to us, and you get frustrated or upset because they've given up on themselves, or they send you a post and you're like, why did they send? I had a lady yesterday send me a message. She wanted me to call her. I was driving, so I didn't see the message. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm picking up Jack. When I got to a stop sign, I said, I'm picking up Jack. I'll call you when I'm done. That's all right. You're never available. Like, this is the first time you've ever messaged me, and I was driving. So it's like those kinds of things where I just had to stop for a minute and come back and really just be calm about it. And I tried to call her. She sent me to voicemail, and I left her a nice message, and then I messaged her. But that's what I mean by that feeling. You got to calm yourself down when people are not nice. And so many are not. Right?
Bless and release right there.
I know. I love that. So, at the end of this chapter, it says, in your everyday life, start asking, what do I want to feel today? How could I define the meaning of the day so that I feel what I want to? Next time you go on a date with someone, think about the feelings you want to create. Before you sit down with your child, what do I want to feel when I'm helping my kid? What feelings do I want them to have about me, about homework, about their life? This kind of clarity and intention will change how you experience your life. Anybody have thoughts on that? You guys are very quiet today.
I didn't read the whole chapter. That's why don't have an opinion
Oh,
right now.
yeah. No, I didn't either. I stopped at practice 3. I'm still
Mhm.
not there yet.
I mean, most
ahead.
of it just fly by the seat of our pants on so many things. I mean, it's just. I mean, when things are broken down this simply, I mean, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Just like when that lady said that to you, I mean, it's so natural just to get mad. But
Right.
if you really think about it, if you just calm yourself and, I mean, it just makes sense to do that, but most people don't.
And my first emotion is, what did I do wrong? I start turning it to myself. Wait, did I talk to her? What did I do wrong? Why doesn't she like me?
Yeah.
You know, I get those emotions that go.
My daughter and I talk about this a lot. I feel like it said hurt people. And when they have a reaction like that, that's really reacting to themselves going through some kind of trauma or some kind of something that they're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just going to blow off at her. But that really wasn't about you at all.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was about something she was frustrated with. And I want to help her, but she won't respond. So then the performance prompts, you see them on the last page. And you might have to come back to this. But the one that really struck me is number 3, the feelings I want to experience more in my life include. So if you could think about your feelings, it's on the last page of that practice 2, Karen and Randy.
Practice 2.
And it's number 3, the feeling I want to experience more of in life include. And I put down 3 words there. I thought it would be fun to share ours if you want.
I put 2 are calm and collected. I would, just from talking about that, it's very easy for me to lose my cool, man. I lost it on one of the insurance people for my 100-year-old father-in-law. And I mean, I was just beside myself. And finally I had to get off the phone to go take some deep breaths and come back and have a new attitude. And then I got something done, but
Yeah.
yeah. I really needed this to do that beforehand.
Right. I just kind of like set your intention. I can get angry
Yes.
about things like that too, because it's like the injustice of it all.
Yes. And it's not these poor people that work there's fault,
I know.
Oh my gosh, they get the butt end of it.
For sure. My mom used to always write letters, and I think that's a good practice, like maybe to write down. Back is before people did a lot of internet stuff, and she'd write a letter. I'm very disappointed, blah, blah, blah. She'd word it out nicely. And sometimes it's better to maybe write it out before you talk it out. I don't know. That would be my advice. But my feelings are fun, happiness, and security. That's what I want to feel more of. Fun, happiness. And I mean, really, how do you define happiness? Doing the thing you love all the time, right? How far did you guys get in the book?
I didn't get past there. I was trying to think, it's not really I guess it's not really an emotion, that I want to feel satisfied that I've done everything I could do. I've accomplished or done everything that I needed to do and could have done, like in a day, instead of putting off and procrastinating and going, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, you're muted now.
Yeah, I muted because I was like, I don't know if there's going to be noise, but I feel that way too. I'm like, I have books and notebooks and stuff, and I go through my things to do, and I'm like, I think it has something to do with energy, which we're going to get to that chapter, how to have more energy. It's almost like all of these things work in conjunction. Your energy will raise when your clarity raises. Your energy will raise when you develop influence. I mean, when all of the things are kind of in working like as a fine oiled machine, then we're going to have more energy.
Mhm,
And if you're not feeling good, Karen, your energy level is going to be low,
mhm,
right?
true.
Anything else you guys want to talk about in this chapter so far? I mean, we'll talk about practice 3 next time and maybe really dig into the performance prompts a little bit better. Because I didn't read practice 3, I can't talk about it. I mean, I did read it, but it's been a while. So what are your big takeaways from today? Stretch goal, right? Have a stretch goal. When you have clarity, you know what you want. So more clarity. High performers have more clarity on who they are, what they want, how to get it, and what they find meaningful. Have a stretch goal. Think about your future, right? So there was a lot in this chapter. Think
Mhm.
about your future and what skills you need to develop for the future. For me, it would be reels. More reels.
Can we
Developing the
say
skills.
what Instagram accounts we have so that we can follow each other and comment on our reels so that boosts our algorithms?
Yeah, I would put those in the, because nobody comes back to this, just put it in the high performance,
Okay,
the chat maybe.
okay. And when you're finished, I have just a general question when you're all done with this wrap up.
Yeah. And then also setting intention and calming yourself down in situations. So those are the things that I took away. Anybody want to share what their takeaways are from this chapter so far?
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just having clarity on where you want to be, but all the clarity of what's going to get you there and what you need to work on and a lot of that.
I know, Leanne, there's so much in this chapter. And I missed a lot of this last time. Like we were doing 15 different things at once when we were doing this before. So digging in is really helpful. Babette, did you want to say something?
Yeah, what I really liked was on the social part where it said anticipate positive interactions, social interactions. I mean, that to me is golden. You know, if you go into a thing, and I don't know if that's a lot of the like the feminine energy, like going in with a feminine energy, or just whatever they need. But to me, it's more of that I have to do, because I'm just a really blunt person. I'm like, okay, you need this, and you need this, and you need to order this, and I'm trying the new
That's how I
approach
am
of
too.
that.
But you are who you are. People love you for who you are. So
Right.
maybe know your audience a little bit.
Yeah. And they do know I'm pretty direct. So,
Me too. Me too.
The question that I had was, where does it explain the journaling and that his journal? I bought that
Oh
journal
God,
that he
it's such a
has.
pain in the, don't even look at that stupid journal. We'll just go through the performance. Were you here on Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay, so I
It's
showed you
total
guys
waste
where
of
to
money.
go to the high performance tools, and you can get a downloadable guide. Tools, hold on. Here it is right here. I'll put it in the chat. So you can go through and the performance prompts, the influence model, and the clarity chart, which we're using in the coaching section too.
Okay, repeat
Like-
that, those three things, the performance props.
Here's the link. I just gave it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Click on that and then scroll down and it'll say the clarity chart, the performance prompts, and those are PDFs. I also put them in Google for me because I like to type. So what we're going to do is the next time we come together to talk about the book specifically, we'll probably do some of the performance prompts together and think about, come together on our clarity. I know, as Leanne said, this is a chapter we've listened to over and over, and every time I go back to it and read another section, I get a little bit more out of it. But what I want you guys to do is think about what parts of this chapter that you need to take action on. What do you need to do to get more clear? So, and to me, it's in sections. What do I need to do for self? What do I need to do for service? What do I need to do for my future? Kind of getting through there, getting through those, and then putting them in your planner so that you have that down. Like if you need to work on reels, that it's in your planner that you're going to do it that day. Because you can talk about it all day long, but if you didn't do it or if you didn't take action on that thing, then you're not going to move forward. Knowledge is power, but doing is more powerful. So for me, it's the skills. How am I going to serve? Those kinds of things. So think about this chapter and think about the things you need to do to take action. So we'll be doing that we'll talk about that next time. And then when we meet for our Tuesday night, we're going to talk specifically, Leanne, me too. We're going to talk specifically about our business and our issues around our business right now and how we can use what we're learning in the book to solve those problems. We kind of did that today too. But I'm trying to find a balance between the two. It's hard. Different feelings, different days. So I think we're good unless you guys have more that you want to discuss.
If I won't be here next Thursday, will this be available somewhere?
Yeah, it'll be recorded.
Okay.
And there's a single post in the Facebook group just called #Zoom recordings, and all the recordings are going to be in that one post.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I would think since we don't have that other meeting, I don't have that other meeting on Tuesdays anymore, that we could quite possibly come a little earlier if everybody wants to do that, or if it's agreeable. And if not, it's fine.
Yeah, I can't, but I have a standing 7:30 chat for my team.
Yeah.
Unless I can get one of them to ever take over doing some of them. So far, no takers.
I can
Okay.
do whatever y'all want.
And I'm fine with everything, but several people dropped out because it was so late. So I was just trying to speak to the masses here, what would work for everybody. But we also want people that'll come, and we're all coming. So we'll keep it the way we have it. Right.
Okay.
Leanne, we'll miss you next week. Remember to finish up your chapter on clarity.
Yeah. Awesome that you're going to be speaking at that leaders retreat. And for those of y'all who don't know me, this isn't what I sound like. I have laryngitis.
You definitely do. I hope you feel better.
I do. I finally feel a little better today. I was wondering last night. I was about done.
You'll be great, Leanne.
Yes. Will do.
You'll be great. Okay, April. Sounds good. Well, I'm glad you guys were here today. I think we'll sign off for now. I'm ready to get to work, and I'm going to start. I think I might journal for a little bit, the rest of our time, just journal a couple of things we talked about so I remember to do them.
Awesome.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.